So I have arrived. So I have come on. Let me make sure I'm on. Okay, I'm on. And wow. So basically, what I'm here to talk about is this is going to be a lot. I've got a lot to go into. So, because I wanted to share with people, my what I've been getting. So I was doing okay, so I did okay, so how did I like follow the candidacy of both parties? Um I created um I created both Donald Trump's and Kamala Harris separate astrologicals and read them and began to read them. And so I noticed that uh, that Vice President Kamala Harris, she has more formulas than astrological formulas than Trump. So what I did was I did all of the formulas, none of the less. And by the way, between the two of them, they have many. It took me hours to complete, and so I uh, wrote out all formulas up to three apiece. So they each had three apiece that I hadn't looked at or I was not going to observe in when I deliver uh, like my findings. I would deliver these final three in other videos. Of course, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, her three was the first that I presented, and I held back uh, Donald Trump's, now President Donald Trump. So, and then I just recently performed his, which I named as something like the three mysteries. So those are complete. And my finding is, so I wrote that like so they're so unusually similar astrologically, like the same giftings the other one has. It's just that it will be it will not be operational at a presidential level. Only save one. Only one will amass the entire bid, and that's the power. And well, fast forward, um, President Trump racked up all of in that Leo space. Um, and he even figured out the empathy thing. I talked about that in the previous video. Um, the other thing is about the situation. I was reading that, well, obviously, winner takes all. And trifectas, when was the last trifecta? Hold on, let's first look at that. The last USA trifecta. Trifecta is when all the legislative branches, when they say, "Hey, would you like to give the Americans a little brush up on their civics?" And they talk about three branches of government. That's the trifecta. When one of the two in a bicameral party gets all three, that is a trifecta. Okay. So they said the last time one party controlled all three branches was in 2007. It's extremely rare It's extremely rare. And it sounds like the Republicans did it back in 2007, and they're certainly having the ability to do it today. And there's another conundrum that people don't seem to understand, and that is why the Electoral College. It took me a while to remember the Electoral College, like that. I mean, that was a big deal. The way that I thought about it when I first was studying it, because it's just, trust me, Electoral College mustn't go anywhere because the whole point was, okay, it's a fail safe. It's so that people can't operate like a mob or a gang. Like people say, well, I'm from the mob, this and a angle this and a gang affiliate this, and create, a popularity thing that even I don't understand it, but very is. I do remember electoral college, the way that it's very sophisticated, complicated, sciencey numbers. It's high mathematical numbers, the way they can figure in how to even overrule a mob of people, human beings, individually who group together to say, well, there's more of us, less of you. And of course, everything starts from, it's with the number. The magic number is 200,000, as in 200,000, enslaved Black Africans. But besides that, we'll put that to the side. Um, oh, by the way, that 200,000 also becomes what they look at to see who gets representation. So, like a representative, more or less, which that it was something that happened early in the century, early in the 1900s. It's fairly new. It's fairly new because it was based on metropolitan areas that had 200,000 people plus gets representation, and then so the electoral people, the states choose, not the people, the state chooses electorates, or elect people to go into the electoral college. And so they have no ties to people. There's no desire for, like quid pro quos, no, give me this, I give you that. There's no reason for giftings. They're good. You have nothing to offer them. There's no connection between they and you. And if they go against they overrule you, they don't lose anything. Now, a Senate might need to go and lobby for you. A Congress person, hence lobbying, will do something, work for you, will do it for you, but not this group. That's the check. That's your check. So, Republic is when Republic gets moving towards like authoritarianism. I know it's a little early for me to saying that, but we're learning something here. Then you've got the Democratic Party, to the people, that's the people, to protect the Republic for the people. And then when the people, are moving into, so by the way, the Democrat, I know you had to admit this, but the now the very first president is Republican. That is George Washington. Okay, even no matter how you look at it, whether you say George Washington or President Lincoln. I know President Lincoln and is not even the second president. I understand, but I'm saying contrasting. Both of them are Republican. Okay, so it was for the people, by the people, etc. So what happens if ever this minority, the people, right, actually were to be in the pinnacle of power? Who checks them on their way up? It's the electoral college who checks the people. So you can't be like, I got more people than you. I'm more popular. That is not enough. Because that means no matter how popular a group is, like they would say, that when you ask a group of people, you ask a state, if the whole state wants to bring back slavery, should they be able to do it? Or one state, let's be kind, one state wants to bring, they only want to eat ice cream and they want to outlaw meat. See, you got the electoral college to say, no, now people, you're not making sense. No, they're like mobbing, they got the thing, they're like, we're bigger than you, there's more of us, we got the, we picket you and we'll not give into the economy. The electoral college like, yeah, we're not gonna have everybody only getting nourishment from ice cream, and no, we're not gonna like revert back to archaic ways. No, so so that's what the electoral college is for. I know people are like really fighting on this one, but trust me, electoral college is not going anywhere. I know why people would want them to go away. That's why you hear this more from the Demo like whoever's the minority, because even Trump has even brought up the conversation about should be getting rid of the electoral college when he lost to Biden. So likewise, it's the one who becomes a minority of the two bicameral groups, right? Republic. For now, I know there are other parties, but let's be honest. Republic and Democrat, right? The contenders. The losing one is always the one who says, we need to get rid of the electoral college because, the people is more people for me, and this electoral college, system mathematic, but the rationality of it makes sense. But when you understand why that electoral college is in place, you understand why that must never be the case. So there's that. So I have the original. I know I posted it in a thumbnail, actually. The mystery of. Wait a minute. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, wrong one. Wrong one, wrong one. Which one did I have? Uh, I don't even know. Because uh, I did write it. I just don't recall which one I wrote it in. Hold on, hold on. I've got my books here. I have the information. It's in one of these tablets. I just need to find out which one. My body is like, can we have another coffee, please? I'm like, no, we did that. We did splurge one coffee. But if I was going to go get it, I need to go get it now. Oh, boy. But I know I shouldn't. One coffee. So I got to fast from it. Because I don't want to get like reliant on it, I can be productive without it. And I love that idea. Like I believe that a person can become psychic without drugs or alcohol, and also now I say without stimulation. Yeah. So that means like I don't need caffeine to do it. I do it. I like so whenever I do partake, I would say like in particularly let's say caffeine or like a coffee. It's because I want to enjoy the coffee. It isn't because like I need it for any reason, one way or reason, rhyme or reason. Mm. Okay, so well, I might not find it. I might have to just draw it up. I know I've got the thumbnail if all else fail. It must be in this one. But I won't find it because it's in highlighter. And I love to turn on my blue light, and which I already know you all wouldn't be able to see it. So I probably will just Mm-hmm. Most likely we'll just read it from, hmm. Well, thank goodness I snapshot. See, I have trouble keeping up with these tablets. I have so many. Anyways, I've got the thumbnail. Okay. All right. So, pictures, snapshot, and oh, by the way, okay, here it is. So, by the way, I did receive my the prophet's reward. I talk about that. Basically, so what happened? What does that even mean? Well, it means that I landed a major contract, and I'm back in the U.S. of A soil, and I'm already feeling the vibrations of you want to say the financial side of things. So in a good way, which is going to help me with producing my channel the way I want it. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so that's a big win for me, and I contributed to the work, of course, that I do, that I've done. Okay, so it says, so I guess it reads in the thumbnail, the Trinity is a Christian doctrine that states that God is one being that exists as three distinct persons, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Um, Alpha and Omega. Some people view, I mean, if you get mystical with it, some people view Alpha as like, would be Yahweh concept, and then Omega to be the Son, which would be Jesus Christ. But the Alpha and Omega is because Jesus, what we view as Jesus Christ would have already been from there from the very beginning. Like that's because we're looking at his body, like we recognize and we understand him through the lens of the body, which that was his plan. He wanted Christ, the Jesus, before he becomes the Christ. Before, okay, Jesus was he 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 was indeed from the heavens, but he had to become the Christ. When he becomes the Christ, that means after his death, then he's crowned the Christ, and then that Christ connects him to humanity, and that's where you get the Savior part from. Otherwise, he's just Jesus, and he's the Son of Almighty, and okay. And then there's other little mystical things. Like it's even expressed, well, why can't anybody just do it? Why can't other gods do it? And why can't angels do it? So it talks about that in Corinthians. I'm not going to go over that with you. I didn't mean it to turn into a Bible thing. But I just wanted to say that of course, when Christ is explaining who he is at the very end, the final words he says is that he is the Alpha and Omega, but it's Christ who is speaking. So again, we find ourselves looking at. Remember, we're going to look at Jesus Christ often through the lens through the eyes. It's like some people might view him just as a big brother, to be honest, you know. So rather than this entity, this like entity, they understand the concept of like a royal priesthood, kingship, etc. But you know, they may look at and express him through the lens of a person, a human, a mortal. So sometimes that can be a bit perplexing to try and to perceive that through the mind's eye. Well, anyway, my only reason for writing the Trinity, anything about it, was because the trifecta emulates the Trinity. I mean, it's a right. It's just like, well, this system. There are systems that are meant to fail, and then there are systems that are not meant to fail. You know, so like this is a government that emulates the Trinity, literally, and the trifecta. The trifecta would be the executive, the legislative, and the and the House. So trifecta. Okay, so in the second prophecy, I stated that the winner is brought forth. The winner takes all. I did say that. Um, and also, as I read both of their charts, it was unbiased. So whenever I read the charts, and I also even read like what both of them could work on, and I believe that they have exceedingly done quite well at doing exactly that. And reading all these things and watching it all play out in real time as I'm reading it is amazing. I love doing that. Um, like it happens like within hours. It doesn't take years. Um, the other part to that is, oh gosh, what was the other part? I mean, maybe if I never. Okay, how did I write that? I think I wrote it in this one. Yeah. So I wrote out the formulas. Yeah, so I already described how both of their worlds are just like their giftings and so forth. And yeah, we're gonna see um, spiritual gifts activated this time, operating through Trump. They will operate this time. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, this was Kamala's her three things. Um, and oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about the trifecta. So oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. So in when I was describing this, when I said the winner will take it all, they're gonna have the entire thing. They're gonna have the gift of giving. That's what I was trying. That's what I'm drawing from, the gift of giving, and sure enough, it played out exactly the way that the universe wanted it to play out, and it's just gonna continue, to grow and to become much more profound as we go. I think that it's going to be perplexing. And and again, this is the system. Yeah, I mean the infrastructure, the system, the history. Yes, it's not perfect. The system, the qualifying checks and balances is perfect for this inadequate system. It's not going anywhere and nowhere anytime soon. I don't care if someone says 7 years. I give it 7 years. So it doesn't matter if you give it a holy number, the holy number seven. It won't matter. Okay. The first 2 years, you'll still be here and bills will still be due. That's just the truth. Okay. Um, and because this isn't even about um, Age of Aquarius is not even about destruction like that in the like Western destruction. Let's see. Um, gosh, I was in another. I must have been in a trance because I'm trying to figure out like how did I pull this off? Okay, I must have. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm, hold on. Oh, okay, I wrote it in this one. Oh, and here it is. I found everything now. I just had to turn it upside down. Well, who knew? So up is down and down is up. Yeah, so here it is. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, the Trinity. Okay, so the last piece was the trifecta. Is a government trifecta. By the way, there's a few different types of trifecta. We're looking at a government trifecta. Is a political situation in which the same, well, in this case, Republican Party, Trump executive, controls the executive branch and both chambers of the legislative branches. In countries that have a bicameral, we do legislative, and an executive that are not fused or that is not fused. So they're not fused together, but they're meant to emulate each other. They're meant to um, what do you call it? Not emulate, simulate. They're meant to simulate each other. They're meant to to simulate into each other cohesively. And so obviously when you narrow down like the different types of philosophies around a table, oh, by the way, we're entering into a chapter of probably most likely extreme dogma, like all the dogma. We got to go through all that information. It's on its way. Okay, we're gonna soon be celebrating our 1 year anniversary in Age of Aquarius come February. So what does that tell us? It means that okay, I'm already seeing the vibration. Okay. I talk a little bit more about this, having, when I'm in this space, I get to go a little out there, but I'm not going to go about all over it in this particular session. But I will just say this to keep it straight alignment with the information that I'm speaking on today. We're going to receive the higher collective consciousness that has opportunity to filter through the Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness. So this is a time for us. It's going to be a collective, conscientious concerns with the unconscionable things. And that's not to say that some people won't try to go back to age of Capricorn. We expect them to. I read for people every single day, except for the past 2 days or 3 days. Excuse me. This is yeah. My third day off from everything is winding down. In 3 days, I'll be picking up another my my big contract. I'll be picking up on that in 3 days. So I'll be very, very busy. But all that to say lets me go live on my YouTube channel and TikTok. Um, so I will absolutely do things, do work, of course. And now, universe told me just because I'm seeking an independent journey to my YouTube channel and my TikTok, that doesn't mean that I leave my 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 two top. I mean, it makes me like an overpowered villain. Basically, I have two of the best companies of the UK. I'm always looking out for them, always reading for them, and you know, giving them ray of hope. And they're going through a lot themselves. And And also now I'm back in the U.S. of A. soil of America, so I will be doing the same for America. Top, both of them top companies, just in different countries. They're the best of the best in their country, and I am a part of it. Uh, so the rest of the, even though we don't think about it, but the rest of the world is the Western world are, we're really banking on, because they are going to emulate, you know the ideas of the West. They are. So yeah, and so the presidency, this presidency in particular, that it's in age of Aquarius, we're receiving all this information. It you know it it challenged the literal fabric of reality, or I'll just say it that way. And I'm getting empathic flashes of why that must not be right now. There are way too many philosophers. There's Greek philosophers, and then there are Greek emperors, and then there are Greek soldiers. There's a place for it all. There's a person or people for it all. But this is Rome. It would be like the philosophers actually, being over the republic. And it's just not the time for philosophers. This is a dangerous time right now. All of them, okay, listen, you've got all the big personalities who will throw the first punch. You got the people who throw the first punch. They're on this stage right now. All the ones you can, when you close your eyes, you imagine, and you want to say, who would be the one to come causing trouble, come, pouring, milk like carts of milk, chocolate milk over somebody's head. Who would be that one? Those folks have now arrived. They're out of detention. They're out of detention. So they coming, and your heart is like, your body, even though you said, I'm not scared in your brain, but your body like, either fight or flight. What are you going to do? Fight or flight. And you don't know if the other one is going to jump in for the other one. Oh, by the way, Zelensky, listen, you've got to stop. I know you're trying to be, you know, understanding, but you've got to stop being. There's no room for you to be nice, because North Korea. It's kind of like, uh, like the person comes and holds you, and then calling over the buddies to come in and gut you, give you a few jabs in the gut. Are you gonna take that? No. The one who jumps in, you're supposed to say, oh, and if anybody jump in, you're gonna get it worse than I'm gonna give it to him, and he's the one I got beef with. But so if you don't want that, or if you bring yourself into that, this is what you're gonna get. So you really, Zelensky, come on. I know you're a warrior. I know you're a warrior. I know you got it in you. But the good thing is that they said, I was reading, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that America is now lifting the ban off of contractors, military contractors, to go and assist Ukraine. And now, to be fair, Ukraine is holding their own. Ukraine is holding their own. Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like he got that arm up like this, and kind of got, he's kind of like, Russia got the arm up like this, exposing all of this area, and then he's like, yeah, come get some lit, come on, man, get in. And then you got Korea, like boom, 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 and then you got like they're in the front lines, and they're trying to show off, because they're like, oh yeah, I'm your cousin, in Korean, I'm your cousin, to these Russians. And they're like, yeah, yeah, I'll go, like knock on the door, real hard, and so they're like going in, and, like look like fruit flies landing on you. And, I know soon you're like, yeah, you're just a fly. No, 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 Zelensky. you gotta hit deep, and you gotta hit hard, like like detour action type of like hitting. Like I did it so hard that next time you're like, dang, I'm gonna do it again, but dang, it hit me hard, and hit me once. It hit me hard. It hit me fast, and maybe even hit first. So sometimes, so I'm just saying, because who I'm already, I'm taking my stances. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was, um, I truly wanted to see a woman in my lifetime become president, but it's not the right timing. It's not the timing. Okay, so now I got that out of the way. So 100,000%, I'm on. I like Zelensky. I'm on. I'm on your side, buddy. I'm on your side. I'm so proud of you. Like you really held your own, and I made so many psychic prophetic videos, and I truly believe Snake Island is sacred for hmm the spirits claim that island. That's a sacred space. That is a sacred space. Absolutely. I see the lights there. Also, it's where the serpent. Yeah, they're on the stage. That's where events will start actually. So there's a few of the things going on with Kamala. I noticed that she is aligned with her situation was with the whole Gaza, and I don't want to go into it. Do I want to go into it? Okay, yeah, let's go into it because then I won't have to think about it later. It's not so much she didn't handle it incorrectly. It's just that that's a very important. I know people say no, it's economics. No, 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 no. Trust me, it's more. It's beyond that. Economics is economics as it is felt in the present. Okay. No, it was about that because there's a lot of conflict there. Because spirit was telling me as I was walking about. If you're gonna be in the president's seat, even if you're married to someone who is who is of a culture that is contradictory to the universal consciousness of humanity and life, sometimes you have to turn to the person you love most, who is your twin flame, and say, you you have so much pull. You need to talk to your people. Talk. It's okay, honey. I know. I get it. I get it. I'm on your side, but you need to talk to your people. But she is a woman, and women do process think differently. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm stand by my man. My man is Jewish. My family is Jewish. And yes, it's unfortunate what happened to Gaza, but let's not forget what happened on November 7th. We got that part cleared. We clear on what happened. We're after the people who are the Hamas, who are the people who actually provoked and did this. Not the citizens themselves. Like the citizens, he says, I'm concerned with the innocent of people. No, what we should have said was, very concerned with the innocent of people. But I want to go after the correct people because there's no justice if we don't go after the correct people to get our people back, the ones that are held captive still to this day, who are both Israeli, I believe, and also U.S. citizens. So it's a better contextual, empathic way of addressing that. But then the way it was curtailed that, well, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about me. It's like, you get me in, I'll help you in your predicament kind of feeling. And that's just because in America, to be honest, a Western mindset soul isn't going to sit in that. They're not going to sit in that space. So that's why it wasn't the economy. But let's continue. I think, what time is it? How far is it? How far am I in this? Okay, so 20 more minutes. Ah, so in other words, basically, um, whew, I was expecting it to get so hot. It got a little hot. So, so basically, is what's going on is that life is still growing and expanding, and we're in a time where we need, as you would say, people who, particularly someone to fulfill, an executive chair, a chair that is for, someone who is, because there's a great sacrifice, and I said, this will be a sacrifice that even the family will have to undergo. You have to sometimes be able to have the capacity in public to swallow the pride and say, you know, you're right. Don't like wife or husband, in her case, husband, we'll talk about this later. You're right. We need to figure that out. And we do have the wrong people. You're right. We gotta get those, we gotta get the distinction going on here, because it's not representing what the fight was about, who we were going after. It's kind of like going after their kid brother, but it was the older brother who did it, so, or sister. Um, but in this case, in this very real case, it was women and children, and that's it. And that's what Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, as she's running for president, stated. She stated that, but she added that little hook, little gut punch, like, but let's not forget what happened here, as in, like, well, this is your whole family. So it kind of add a little bit of a, if you were talking to someone like, people who have ties, Palestinian ties, like a Palestinian American, that is like, well, your tribe, your it's like saying that, if it's the same as, okay, a a group of, a handful of white people go and burn a cross in a neighborhood full of black people in their yard, and then saying all white people, or if the, like, in a community, black men go in a group, handful again, go and bank rob, and and it's a stream of across the state bank robbery, and then they get caught, and then they find out that's true. Yeah, it's all this group of one, you know bandits of black men, but then not all black men are ripping across the state committing bank robbery. So it was kind of, it was that situation right there. I think people believe in the economy, believe that she had a fantastic journey ahead of her economy wise, but it is, when it comes time to make those tough decisions, especially, okay, you made it through the presidency. Okay, now Donald J. Trump is stepping onto the world scape, where Putin is going to tell Donald Trump, he's going to lean back into Donald Trump's face. If you recall, I said this. I felt that Donald J. Trump's president, excuse me, President Donald Trump is going to. He's got the power now to say, Putin, you're getting your guts mopped up all over the battlefield. Like, what? How can we talk this out smoothly and get this? Because we're losing people on both sides, and it's not good. So, and then Putin's gonna lean in and says, "Oh, I'm gonna get me some land." you, 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 you bet everything on that. Uh, welcome back, President. Congratulations. I'm getting me some land. He doesn't want to do a lot of the things that I'm not even going to talk about them. There's a lot of dark doomsday people. I know they're gonna come and get their money. Come get your money. I know you're coming. But besides that, we'll deal with that as we cross the bridge. He's got to lean into them, and he can't be like, okay, well, is that what you want to do? And then here you are, and we see the back of your head just going, well, we're going to just keep an eye on things, but we're watching, we're in conversation with them. Well, we're going to try to get them in the talk when they're open and they're ready to come to the table. We need both sides to come and talk. So that's a bit of a issue there, because whenever you go into that space, it has to already be there. It's like, look, the first thing I'm doing is pulling people into the office space, and we're going to talk. Like Donald Trump says, he just said, kind of, well, I'm going to be talking with Putin, and then we're going to be discussing bringing a close to this war to an end. That's it. Period. No questions asked. How to do it. You know, and it's the right fight for President Trump, because guess who? Oh, now Kim Jong Un once onto the world stage, but not by way of. We already knew. I predicted that for my soldiers who would contact me in South Korea. They who are running drills every day. Like, come on, like we're doing these are intense drills. You want some of this? But not by way of South Korea. South Korea, you know, like let them, get some exercise in, get some muscles, get a little bit bigger. Next time you see them, they'll be like, they'll be 2 inches, 3 inches taller. A little bit more stockier. You know what I mean? And their clothes are fitting just right. To take a few punches, weave and things like that, do some flips. So yeah, Kim Jong Un is coming into the world stage by way of he wants to engage the world in the realm of art of war, by way of Russia, by way of Putin. But guess who? This is gonna be one of those fine moments where you realize, oh yeah, so some people of the same feather flock together. And so it's gonna be interesting. So you'll have Putin right here. You'll have uh, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump right here. After Kim Un just left, or maybe on his way to go, having a conference call with Putin later after having met with Donald Trump. And if you don't think that President Donald Trump is gonna go over there to Russia, speak to Putin, and then sit and then look into the camera and say, Kim, what are you doing? Like, okay, first of all, it's already set up so that this current Biden administration has already lifted the ban. And I don't know if that's what they just said, that the White House. So there could be some cohesion there, like setting it up where, well, if you're gonna be the president, Donald Trump, and you said you want a shot at Kim, and Kim wants a shot at you. Uh, well, like well, here we'll set it up. Like lift the ban for military contractors. So when Donald Trump comes into office, like he already, just like buttons have already been pushed. Like, okay, so listen. First of all, we got to prove a point. This is gonna be a political move, and he may even give reason why to. I don't think that Donald J. Trump agrees with Zelensky. I think he agrees more with Putin, because he's traditional. Donald Trump views um, Putin as the big guy. So I have a feeling that I mean, it's kind of like enticing, the fact that it's kind of enticing to to show to show the influence that Trump will want to present. They said he will be like a star and be of the show, more or less, to be the centerpiece. That's going to come out even more. And plus, his entry into office was under. He's born from out of Leo, the Leo as in the astral realm. Excuse me, astral realm. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of machismo, like showy energy, flashy, like he's gonna need Kim at some point to make him look good. And I'm telling you, it's gonna have something to do with, well, maybe Zelensky, if I give you a little bit of a helping hand, although I think you should give up some land, but I need you to really do Kim dirty, do Kim's troops dirty. I mean, you need to really do him in. So I think he'll give him. I think he'll give Zelensky that much grace, but like now Zelensky doesn't have time to really like dance. He's got to like have a quick solution. This can't be drawn out because it's not, like you say, not likely to get the assistance that he wants. You know, commanded with, working with the with I love you, Biden administration. Okay. Whew. Okay. Okay. So, come, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris is still my girl. But if you want a fighter, and you want the kind of fighter that throws the first punch and who can talk and actually throw a punch, I mean, Donald Trump is my man. Be honest with you. And every time he comes around, Donald Trump is lucky. Like, Donald Trump is like a he's like a little lucky crux, like, that attracts money. Because every time that he's been in office, I've gotten big contracts and breaks. So I've noticed I've noticed that. And this time, we caught each other at the start, because I was I believe I was in, let me see. Yeah. Well, anyway, the it had switched over. It was like 2 years of his presidency, something like that. And when he's been president, my economics like up. But that, I admit, that's the one thing I remember, and that's the only thing that I love. But now that I've read him thoroughly like this, because I've read him before, and I saw great, like, it would be a vision of like a vision where people he would become, well, then in the first presidency. So, and then time happens. So he's resurfaced. He's re-entered. He's back in the office. Now he's president again, and this wave of energy is like it all came back to me. So, which I've also identified, because I said in this process, I was like, this time I will better find a group that I need to stay away from. Because I couldn't locate. I mean, I could connect with them sometimes, but now I know them definitively. So, but I will have that for the rest of my life. So I know exactly which is which, and which patterns to follow. So I do know that. So I'm excited about that vibration, this new vibration. Um, yeah. So yeah, so that's been, the reading experience, reading for having read for both of them. And it was a pleasure reading, the last three formulas for President Donald Trump. And oh, and his first lady, who is his twin flame, you know. So, um, the new year. I also know another thing. The new year, the group that I'm reading, by the way, is a group that it will be about the human heart. It's going to be about people finding the love of their lives, about reinstating vows and devotion and commitments. So that's the new year, marriages, um, people, things like that. But you know, and I can recognize like people who don't want that for themselves or want that with a particular person, and that person is maybe not able to give them that. That would have ranged from this year, before October, in early. So before October, because October is a month where if you're pulling away from someone, like that person's exiting, that person's leaving. Then come later on to finding out that, well, I'm talking to somebody right now. How do they feel about it? Like that's the one you're supposed to be with, but you're like hung up on somebody who you know is not even like they're not even trying. It's not even a bare minimum. It's like I'm an adult, so like I make my own decisions. That's the only thing that you could say to me. Like I know. So why do I have to tell you this again exactly? And why are you asking me for the truth? Just say, look, I'm an adult. I do what I want to do, and well, I get what I want from it. Just word it like that. Like, look, to extent what you want to sim sometimes bang, and then be on a merry way and asking for marriage and nothing less, nothing more. Okay, great. Let's leave it there. Answer is all of that, and then some. Give you a phone call or let him know let you know he's coming, and then people will say, so we're gonna have time to be together. So we're gonna spend a lot of time together. I'm like, just be happy with the glass. Finish the first glass of champagne. Finish your first glass first before you ask for another. So yeah, I was like, gosh, there's no manipulating the metaphysic of spirituality. It's just not a thing. Because what happens? Well, look at the presidency. That's how that's what, and then not only that, they're going to remember this particular live is describing a trinity in political language, and for our government, it's called a governmental trifecta. That's what happens when you try to manipulate the metaphysical spirituality. You get things like a trifecta on your hands because the universe has got to balance itself out. Oh my God. Anyways, um, so apparently it's the weekend. I have to wait till Monday to for them to announce that the Republican now is in charge of the purse. Um, which I can understand why they wouldn't want to dump all this all at once, because I think they're giving people like it's like adding a little bit of a buffer as well, so the timing is impeccable. That we can get a little bit of a break, you know, from having to deal with the blow of not witnessing the first woman to become the president of the United States of America. But on the other hand, it's exciting in other ways because we're witnessing um, someone you know, who proved that, through one's, self determination and sheer will can actually, like, yeah, you make some wrong turns, criminal decisions, and but one can be, what do you call it? Starts with an R. Rehabilitated. One can be rehabilitated. One can even be redeemed, and you know you no matter what walk of life, no matter if you are, you know um, convicted felon, you can you can make something of the time left, come and leave a mark in the world, in life. I mean, that's going to be interesting. I mean, like, how many ways are you going to write that bio, that movie? And oh my gosh, one thing is for certain. I think the Trinity got their lick back. They got if God came back and got his lick back on Hollywood and all their form. Not like an Illuminati way, but I mean, like, just Hollywood itself is dirty. And I always would mention, I'm like, I don't know what it is about California, but my issues was is with with Hollywood, California. I mean, the industry. Oh gosh, they did me very dirty. And then New York, dirty. And then I know, look, both of them blue Democrat. Now I'm like, okay, I know the group now. I know this is the just listen to my inside voice, and then next thing you know, they're speaking what they're feeling out loud, and then it doesn't. None of what they're speaking out loud is anything that is sacred. It's like no respect for sacred, for the sacred space, the sacredness, and want to overrule the spiritual world. Um, Now, that's not to say that does not represent Kamala Harris, but for some reason or another, they fell under the umbrella of my beloved Kamala Harris, okay, who I love very much, and I made that so clear. But it was, and not to say that Beyonce or Lady Gaga had anything to do with it. I'm just saying it happens to be coming from out of that space, out of that, but not, I even say the camp, but it's coming from out of that vibration because um, Trump didn't have any of those types. Yes, he's got all of maybe the extremities far right, but he didn't have that type. So those types. Also, I don't have all that anxiousness. I don't have that anymore. Like, because there's a lot of anxiousness that was rested on me, and was trying to figure out where it was coming from. And yeah, it's some people that were, I don't know what plans they had. I can only feel it, and I don't want to explain it because I don't want to give too much away what I already know. But it felt like whatever it required, just a dismantling of the spiritual the metaphysical spirituality part, the psychic, the mysticism. It was going to shape its own bizarre occult, um, and even God. It was to detach from God, uh, the Holy Spirit, and Christ as Jesus becomes the Christ. So uh, it's that Trinity, what they call it, answered back and said, well, and just did, not said anything, just did. Because, yeah, they said that Trump basically went to his rallies and just stood there, like the cool group. He was over there, the cool group, like, didn't have to address a thing to show up, just turn up. Like, hey. And then everybody's like, "Ah," falling out. I mean, they fell out from like, I think I've been sitting here long enough. I just wanted to come in and quench my thirst. I still have one more, and let me make sure so I don't have to go hunting for it. It is, oh yeah, right or right side up. Here it is. Okay, so next one. Okay, so I have like old videos of talking about Trump's connection with to Andrew Johnson, and so things come to the head. And just as my claircognizant, my one of my precious psychic abilities that helped me through like with like when I got tap into my university side is adjournment sin die, and it's in Latin. It means without a day. Hence, it means basic. Okay, so it was used in Andrew Johnson's case. They brought like the Senate then in 1868. They brought cases, small cases against him, to so that they could impeach him, and they succeeded in it. But the real purpose of impeaching him was because the his predecessor, the pre like for president, because Andrew Johnson, a Tennessee Democrat, was asked to be the running mate from and by President Lincoln, Republican. Because he's like, my brother, come with up here. I know you're from the South, you're Tennessee, you're Democrat, you're everything. Like, represent them and come see what good we can do. Because since he was 20, before he was 23 years of age, he was, uh, President Lincoln already knew in his heart and his consciousness that he was meant to free the slaves. And they don't, now I'm gonna be honest with you, people will tell you that it had nothing to do with slave freeing, and it was only about the dollar, and then it wasn't about the dollar anymore. It was just about the brothers, like, because they didn't want, it was about power. They didn't want, you know uh the Confederate, all the other states to leave and be not part of the unity, and all of that, all of that. But most importantly, his journey, his journey started with wanting to free enslaved black people, African people. It like as he's approaching in his 20s, his wife, she uh, married. She actually grew up, in that world, but didn't even like it. She went to college. She put herself through college, and wanted nothing of that life. She was Christian, but she was a spiritualist. She had seances in the White House. So both of them were like twin flames, a match make. He married her, fell in love with her. He could have said, like, they're good. He's tall, he's dashing, he's got his young woman, she's smart and brilliant, and she has to share the same kind of values. They could have said, yeah, we did enough. We told, no, they kept going. They kept going. And there was a point where he was going to actually, because he had lost a few races, he was going to give up. He was going to give up completely. He's from where the Whig Party becomes the Republican Party. So that's what happened to the Whig Party. So, and it's interesting that they don't like to go beyond the Whig. It'll say mention a very brief thing about Whig Party. Don't want to go into the Whig Party because this is what the Whig Party was doing. They don't talk about the Whig Party would have kept more people interested, particularly people who, like myself, really interested in reading what did President Lincoln do besides, writing up the Proclamation of Emancipation Act. He did most. The Whig Party really describes a party that says we do not like this. I'm not saying that every one of them are like that, but from out of the Whig Party, he joins the Whig Party and he's saying that how much he despises it and openly despising slavery. And he said two things I want to do. I want to stop its expansion, and then I want to end it. Now, when he was taking office, people they skew his words and say that he wanted to just slow it down and keep it from spreading. No, he was saying that's the first thing I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to stop it from expanding because they were trying to expand it. They wanted to expand it because it's an industry, right? So they're saying, okay, let's expand it to the north and other places and get them interested, involved in it. And then he said, well, first of all, I'm going to stop it from expanding. He did. And then when he stopped it from expanding, then he went on to become president. And then when he's taking office, his first address was, I have people in the South that, these are not what I'm doing, but you're doing, meaning you hold slaves, I don't. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to free them. They're going to be free. They're going to be free men. And then, of course, he did that. And then that's when they said, it was very clear. They said they were going to take him out. And I honestly believe that, well, okay, I'm going to stop there. So anyways, so, uh, so, so so Andrew Johnson wanted to overturn the Proclamation of Emancipation. He wanted to. So the invited Democratic Andrew Johnson, who was asked to please come be my running mate, and you'll learn how wonderful the world can be. The moment that the president who invited him to come to the White House, is martyred, he then immediately starts saying, okay, I'm overturning. I want this overturned. I want that overturned. He himself working the fields and being a planter, by the way. That's what he was. But he went on, and got a proper education. So, and what they came up with was that the adjournment sine, which means basically we're going to set a day, but without a day in which we will convene. And so that's what it means. Anyway, I'm going to talk more about this in my next one, but I just wanted to kind of get everybody up to speed where I'm at so far as like reading everything. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.